we ready to start the show. First, let me introduce myself because we haven't properly met. My name is Jay D'Angelo.
And I'm D.E. Wilder. Pleasure to meet you all.
Yes, and tonight for our episode of Renaissance Man magazine. Now, Renaissance Man Talk Show, just to give you a little precursor, we had a magazine 20 years ago called Renaissance Man magazine. The emphasis of this magazine was to support, educate, and inspire our community. Beyond just the basketball players and rappers, there's so many of us like you, like I said, in your field, in other fields that we can look up to and learn from, right? That's what our magazine was about. And in today's episode 5, this episode's special because it's Black History Month. And it's called Teach Me for a reason because we have E, the Dean, an experienced educator who has been on the front lines of the educational revolution. Together, we will explore the impact of technology and learning and the strategies that help teachers and parents navigate these challenges and the skills our children will need to thrive in an increasingly complex world, considering the rate of technology and its growth and kids having devices at their hands. Anyone here who's a parent, this is one of the great opportunities for you to pick this man's brain and figure out how you can better help the teachers and also help the kids while they're in your home. So I got tons of questions myself, right? So I ask that you guys keep sharing out the lives because a lot of people can benefit from this information, okay? Dean, thank you for coming. Can you tell us a little bit about you first before we get into some of the questions?
Absolutely. Thank you, Brittany, for the day with me. I'm a fourth grade teacher. I've been a teacher for 11 years. I think I'm a vet teacher at this point. But last year, August 19th, 2024 was when I published my first book. Even though I have written it in the past, 2024 was the year that I pushed everything. It was also the year that I got on this platform. So I feel like that's when everything started changing for me. Teaching is my main focus, my main passion, but my authorhood is rising as well. So we'll see.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
I am an educator. I am an educator as well. So it's a pleasure having you and a pleasure hearing your background, your experience, your expertise, but even more so your insight into how we develop these young people. It's not easy. It's a challenge. When I say it's a challenge, people may not understand. It's a daily challenge that we had yesterday. Is not the challenge we have today. We always have to find new tactics, new strategies, and new ways to engage with young people. So we're looking forward to this interaction to get a better understanding.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, just to start, before we get into the deeper questions, I saw your videos, and the first thing I thought was, man, you must be a really fun teacher. You know what I'm saying?
I am.
I'm serious. Like, Des, you had a chance to look at his videos too. First of all, congratulations, you got 65,000 likes.
Wow.
I know that's not easy to do. So I don't know how long you've been on the platform. But back to the teacher stuff. The first thing I thought, man, you just got to be a fun teacher because I know kids' attention spans are so short.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. So my first question to you will be a light one. How do you bring what I see you do on TikTok into the classroom, respectfully?
Okay, absolutely. So, no, I do feel like I am the fun teacher, and all the students even say that. Most of them want to come to me in fourth grade. We have a good reputation in the building, but I do feel like you have to make school fun for the kids. Otherwise, they bored, I'm bored. For me, I spent so much time there after teaching 11 years that I want to be in an environment that's fun, where we can joke a little bit, as long as everything stays in order. I feel like one part of me on TikTok is fun and funny. I take that with me to school too. And as long as I'm not giving a reason, that's normally the vibe that I have in class.
That's great.
It's a funny thing. Fourth grade is a pivotal grade. They're coming out of their adolescence and their juvenile ways, and they're moving on to a little more maturity. They're starting to understand themselves better and paying attention to that. Fourth grade is an interesting grade and an interesting age. Do you find that the kids in fourth grade Do they enjoy your engagement, or in this technology driven age, are they zoning out and being super bored? Is it a challenge for you to get their engagement?
Not for me anymore. In the beginning, it was when I was just trying to do everything by the book.
Right,
Or if you see people do things and you just learn their ways.
right.
But once I got to my third year, that's when I found my way to let the class have fun, let there be movement, and we can have a fun environment. But you do have to keep them entertained. And sometimes I tell them I'm on stage when I come with them. I'm at work because you got to keep
Right.
the crowd, just like on TikTok. You got to
Yeah,
keep people's attention span. So just like with the kids, if I'm just reading and standing for too long, like somebody might be dozing off. So you got to keep them
that's
moving,
right.
give them opportunities to talk.
That's right. That's good.
So, in terms of, I'm just curious, like, how much flexibility do you have as a teacher? Is it very rigorous, like, you got to stick to a format? Are you able to customize, personalize the way you teach in the classroom today? I'm just wondering, is how
Nope, I understand. So it's like a two-part thing because for one, we have like curriculum. So like it's certain like things you should be teaching by a certain time. But as far as the delivery and how we manage our class, I think that's a building by building thing. Luckily for me, the school I work at, I've had the same principal the past 6 years. So at this point, like I'm trusted. Like my principal know whenever he come to my room, we doing how we supposed to be doing it. So in one class, they may be doing it sitting down. In my class, we might be all sitting on the floor in a circle. But we do have like flexibility, and it's about what you're comfortable with as a teacher as well.
hmm,
Yeah,
That's
but
good.
definitely the principals play like a big role. So that's why their job is so important because they can determine. Luckily, I don't have one that's a micromanager. He kind of give me space because I know what I'm doing and
yeah.
I have the best interest of the kids.
Hmm.
Right. Relationship with the principal is a big important part of it all. Having that relationship and having that trust that allows you to do the things that you do and to be and the flexibility as you mentioned. But I'm curious to know, when you are building your strategy as you mentioned, do you do it where it's a strategy intertwined in the learning mechanism, or you're doing it where your engagement and entertaining, getting their attention, then you put the learning mechanism in place?
So in the beginning of the year, you have to have a different tactics. I normally start every single day and I try to teach my intern when the morning first starts, you have to go back over. People not gonna walk when they want. You're gonna raise your hand if you need to say something. Like
Right.
every single day. At this point, it's mid-February, so I don't feel the need to do all that. But in the beginning, my thing that's important for me is like getting their attention or letting them
Yeah.
know like we about to have fun, but it needs to stay under control. That's a constant thing, even to the last day of school. Because I've had to on the last day of school, like be like, all right, look, so we about to go to field day in a minute, but like don't get sent to the office on the way. So
That's
like
right.
we can go have fun, but you got to just go back over the rules like every day with the kids. Maybe it's a new thing, I don't know, but that's what you have to do. Thank you for the daily.
Can we go back a little further? What made you? Because there's so many things as a person. You look like a very young man. You know, maybe just about 5 years older than me, and I'm like 23, right? In any case,
But
in
who's
any
counting?
case, what made you decide to choose that profession?
Mm. Okay, so actually, it's funny because in college, my first major was social work, and so I feel like just like the family, I'm the oldest in my family, and then I just always gravitated like towards situations where you're helping people out. In college, my freshman year, the first semester, it was social work, but then I just felt like that might be too hands on. It might be a little bit like too much emotionally. So
Yep.
then I ended up like volunteering at the kids' college at our school, where we like help the kids after school with homework, and then that's when that light bulb went off, and so the next semester I switched.
Wow, wow.
Kids
Yep.
college. I'm familiar with that. I think Mega Evers had a kids college as well. That's a great program and a great tutoring program as well.
Yep, absolutely. And so I went to Jackson State University. So look, I'm familiar with Mega Everett. I'm from Lansing, Michigan, but I went to college at Jackson State University, which is in
Oh,
Mississippi.
okay.
Yep, that's where my family on my dad's side is at. A lot of my older cousins, some of my aunts also are JSU alum. So
Oh,
So
yep, and
what
that's where the program was at.
what made you choose? You could have chose anywhere. What made you choose Jackson State?
Yep, I could have went anywhere. My family members went there, and the
Right.
legacy we already had
Legacy.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I wanted to go to a HBCU, and I feel like that was the closest. And plus, I wanted to have fun in college, so that's why I didn't go to some of the other. Cause I'm like, look, y'all too far out in the country. Jackson State was it for me.
Gotcha.
Do you have younger? Well, you said you have younger brothers, younger sisters.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, I have 4 younger brothers and sisters.
Are they interested in teaching?
No, most people who I know, they be like, "How you do it?" We be like, "We don't
Right.
know each
Not
other."
One of the big things that concerns me, bringing it back to the main topic, teach me, right, is technology, and it's moving at a rapid rate, and teachers having to figure out ways to evolve. You're a young teacher, so are you using technology right now to help keep them engaged when they're in their classroom, or is it really you just winging it yourself, or is technology hybrided within the learning?
But it's definitely hybrided into the learning for pretty much all of the subjects. Like anything that we do that we teach, like in person, like in front of the class, it's some type of version or some type of extra thing they can do digitally. And then also we have a lot of websites where we can track like if it's like math fluency that they go in there and practice, so we can see like what they're doing, what they need. But then on the flip side, we do have software so we can keep up with what they on. We can see in real time websites people on. Now that's a little bit too much work for me, but it's available. All of that is available, which I think is a good thing. And then even too, if they search certain things, since we all under the same network, it can flag things like if they look up something inappropriate. And I know because this has happened a few times.
right.
It's always the boys; they always get the flags from the
That's
office.
right. That's right. And the funny thing is they never learn.
Man, every year it's always
Never
a set
learn.
of boys that Google something, and then the people from the administration office call.
Right.
So like they on top of it.
Yep.
They
So,
on
so
top
I'm
of it.
assuming they're using the Chromebooks.
Man, they love them Chromebooks. Just pry yourself away from the Chromebook. And we
Right.
even try to be mindful to not set them up to be on them too much, but
Too
they
much.
are
Yeah.
handy.
That was my next question. Do you think they are helpful tools overall, or to a certain degree can be harmful tools?
Nope, I actually feel like they are helpful because I feel like that's where the world is going today. Everything is digitally. Even when I see them write like type essays, at this point with handwriting, I'm just like, let's get the Chromebooks out at this. We'll
That's
practice
true.
another time still, but let's open a Google Doc and do it there. It's like second nature for them now to open Google Docs and type where you get the squiggly lines. Back in elementary, for me, it wasn't no squiggly lines. You just had to know how to spell stuff.
That's
But
right.
so like sometimes that's a downside, even though it's helpful. It's like a resource, but in the world we live in now, people use a lot of technology. So I
Yes.
feel like there's a lot of enrichment or extra practice things they can do on there instead of us constantly standing in front of them talking. But you do need to mix it up, and sometimes it can get easy and tempting to let them use it too much. But then on the flip side, you got to keep being careful to make sure they ain't getting caught. When we came back from the winter break, I had a student get caught by the principal. In a boxing game, we are supposed to be doing math facts, and he got caught because I wasn't standing over there.
Ah,
So one of
wow.
the Dean the author. There's a question in the chat. If I'm reading this right, what you think about cursor? Are you saying cursive? Is that what you're asking, Tia Wade?
Yeah.
Cursive?
Ooh,
They're
no.
probably asking about the children's lack of ability to write script anymore. We talk about penmanship and might not be able to write correctly. Normally, most kids don't even know how to write script at all.
I think it's important, especially. I feel like kids do need to learn cursive, but I don't feel like it's really getting pushed like it did. Because I remember in third grade, they didn't play about cursive. Like you could not leave third grade. It's not a part of a lot of the big
Right.
curriculums. One thing that we try to do is during group time, like small group time, you can have just one of the group where you just teach one group of kids at a time, or they got practice sheets you can print out, and even for
Right.
parents, like even at home for parents, like you can Google those free sheets that have the alphabet. But it's better when you teach the kids letter by letter. But that's a reminder to me, even for my students this year, I haven't really pushed cursive onto them, just a couple at a time. And I feel like we do need to do more of that. So that's a reminder for me.
Yep, you're right. You touched on something very important that I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of. And we call it the stakeholders in a child education and development. And parents rely so much on schools and the teacher to teach them everything. And it's almost impossible. There's only much time in the day. It's only so many days in the year. The parents got to teach them as well. There's no excuse that a parent's not teaching their child the right script, because remember, you do have to sign your name at some point in life.
Yep, you do. And I actually had a teacher in college my sophomore year. When you turned in the midterm and the final, you had to write it all in cursive. And like I said,
Wow.
for my generation, luckily, most of us, we could write cursive. Like, that was easy. I didn't want to, because I feel like it wasn't good because we didn't practice it as much. But I knew how to write in cursive. A parent asked me this at the beginning of the school year about cursive. And so, like I said, that's something I got to move back to the forefront, because as far as like for fourth grade, the main focus is more so like reading comprehension, or like even for writing, it's like writing essays. And like I said, in 2025 too, a lot of people just type the essay, email it to me, and then I print them out and grade them from there. I don't know about all the schools, but I feel like for the most part, that's the way.
So E, let me ask you, can I call you E?
Yep,
What
that's
would you
cool.
prefer? You know,
You can call me E. You can call me Dean.
okay, Dean. I like that. That's better. Dean, speaking further on that, something I noticed, my daughter, A+ student all through high school, all that. I remember when I was in school, you had to read a book. It seemed like, and I don't know what's the highest grade you've taught, but it seemed like high schoolers not having to bring home a book as much anymore, not being held and bound to have to read chapters like I had to. And I think it's a ultimate failure for them to go to any university and then have that expectation. What I want to ask you, is that something you're seeing? Have we moved away from the textbooks in the first
Yes, I feel like reading it, and it's a when we was just talking about technology. That's the other thing too. Is they always be like, I can read it, I can do the reading, because it's like websites that we have that are approved that they like do read alouds and stuff like that. But our principal told us at our last staff meeting, like this last, I don't know what is this, a quarter or trimester, whatever this last thing of the school year is, we need to push the kids to read more real books. And
Yes.
he was like, we gotta push the kids. Luckily for me though, this year my students overall enjoy reading, so they don't really complain about having to do 15 minutes of reading, because that's what most teachers are doing as well, trying to work in small groups. Maybe while one group is reading, another group is working with me and with my intern. Definitely, they need to do more reading, and that's another thing you can do at home. I be at the thrift store getting books, kids' books. So like, books is out there, and 15 minutes of reading is what's recommended, at least.
That's the and it's a sad part with a lot of budgetary cutbacks. Schools have started cutting back on purchasing books. You put the onus back on the parent or the student to go to a library or something and get the books, because they're not purchasing the textbooks as much. I remember I've seen teachers making copies of books. They have one or two main books, they're making copies of them.
At my first school, I worked at the charter school. Look, I was one of them teachers too. They give you a couple.
Exactly.
You gotta take them and flip them.
Exactly. We want the kids to get in a habit of reading, but it's a habit. They have to be led by example. They have to have those books readily available to them.
So, Dean, what would you recommend? I mean, for the parents on here, then, where I feel like, okay, you said that you're actually acknowledging, saying that your principal's saying, yeah, we need to get them back in the books. And I
The
totally
real
agree.
ones, yeah.
So, then what would you tell parents who struggle to have kids who want to read books when they're used to just taking their phone and learning everything? Like, what suggestions would you have?
For one, in the beginning, read with them. Sometime at school, especially in March, it's called March is Reading Month, and it's a big initiative for people to do a lot of reading. So what we'll do sometime, like over the announcement, they'll say everybody stop and read for 15 or 20 minutes. And so in the beginning, and I try to still do it now. Look, sometimes I be trying not to get on the app, but with the kids too at the same time. So like, I might sit down and read my book, Ethan's Rise. Everybody had your book and get comfortable, pick a spot. They like stuff like that, especially the fourth graders. Now in fifth grade, I did teach fifth, the highest I've taught, and it was a little bit harder with them, because I don't know what it is about that 1 year difference. For fourth graders, they like that kind of event instead of punishment. Say, dang, like I gotta read, and I'm like, no, you get to read. I like reading, and like you was talking about the library cards, that's a thing too. That way you can get books for free. You can keep trading them out. When I was in 7th grade, I got the papers from the library. I took them home, got them filled out. I walked back to the library, and I came back with 5 books. So library card is definitely a thing, and then it could be a family thing too. A lot of the libraries here in my city have activities and stuff that you can do with the family. So that could be another suggestion too, because the library always has something free.
We're going to give you a book. I know you just flashed it up on the
Look,
second half of our interview.
Yeah, look at that cover. Let's see the cover. Nice.
I love that. We're going to get into his book. We're going to get into some things around Black History Month.
Nice.
But we need y'all to keep tapping them hearts. Follow everybody here. Follow Dean. Follow Wilder. Follow Jay D'Angelo. You guys follow each other because this is a tribe that we're creating. Every single week we're going to have content to better our community, like we have this brother here sharing all his knowledge. So for those who have parents, those who are parents in this platform, please take this opportunity to ask this man questions. This is your opportunity to see what is the best tricks and trades if you got newborns and kids that you're about to raise and have to go through the systems that he's in right now. All right. So Des, we're at the 30 block, right?
Yes.
And let's continue on with some questions. We want to make sure we save some time for some book and some Black History Month. My next question I have for you is around social skills. What I've noticed, I would blame myself and other parents who were born in the age of computers, right? We just soaked it in and made it part of our lives. And there was a period of time we saw a kid and we like, here's a tablet, go play with it, right? And then we got amazed by the fact that they could play with it. Now, it's almost like they're attached to their bodies, right? My question to you is, I think technology has declined social skills. And I want to know from you, from a teaching standpoint and social interactiveness, have you seen that? Is that something that you guys address professionally in the schools? Is that even a concern or part of any meetings?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so for one, yes, the technology, like I said, the Chromebooks, it all lies in the Chromebooks, but they be coming in handy at the same time. But when we have things like Fun Friday, once a month, we do a Fun Friday where for 45 minutes, kids can rotate from different classes and do activities, but none of it is Chromebook. So they bought a lot of board games, Play-Doh, and all kind of stuff. They really push us to at least get the kids 20 minutes during the week, maybe 30, 40 minutes on Fridays to let them have time to play games and stuff like that. So definitely just trying to give them at least some time to be like, don't you want to do something else? Or even during the learning times, like during the math groups and reading groups, having something in between where at least for one of them times they not on the Chromebook or 2 of the times they not on the Chromebook. So like having some stuff set up in place so we won't have to just rely on it. Because again, the whole time I could be teaching a group, somebody could be playing a game, even though they're supposed to be reading.
Right.
Yeah.
But a sad part to speak to that is once you start removing and pulling back their device usage, kids don't even know what to do with themselves.
Yep.
Before, if it was a blue sky and the sun was out, you just go out and play anything. You play with rocks. You kick rocks. The kids will literally, you remove the technology from them, they will literally sit still and just do nothing.
Have you been to an event and you saw some kids, maybe it could be a wedding or something, and like cousins in my family, you see a bunch of cousins and they're all like teens and they're sitting at the same round table and everyone's like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know what to do. And that's scary because I work in HR and I help people get jobs in my company and I see the youth coming in and I'm like, man, they're going to have to know how to interview. They're going to have to know how to show some personality. It starts when they're young and the influence of technology and parents just saying, hey, I'm busy, take this and go do something with yourself. I think that's where it starts. What do you think?
I agree, but sometimes I be one of them people at the table in a group of people on their phone. So I be like, oh, I don't know how much I can judge the young people because I'm like, look, sometimes we be on this app engaging from the bottom up. Sometimes I be on my phone too much, but like I said, when you take the technology away from the kids, you just gotta do stuff with them. At least in the beginning, like teaching them how to ride their bike. We be at the table playing Old Maid together. Now I can just be like, okay, now y'all just go play Old Maid. You ain't gotta say you don't have nothing to do because I done taught y'all how to play Old Maid, how to declare war. You gotta do some of the things with them, and then eventually they'll start to do it. Because I even asked some of them, like when we come back, I'm like, "Did you go outside this weekend? Like, what you do? Everybody meet up at somebody's house?" And they be like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, you just stayed home alone?" Like, no, I didn't go nowhere. They didn't play outside. I be like,
Right.
"All right."
Right. Both of you guys made a very good point because Jay D'Angelo, he was speaking of that social skills, and this is where it started, or the lack of social skills is where it started. And if it's not addressed, and if it's not taught, and if it's not learned, it goes into adulthood, and you'll see the effect of that as adults. It's unfortunate where you have adults who don't really know how to engage and have a conversation. Dean made a very good point where this technology is where it's at. This is what's happening now. This is how kids are interacting, how they are communicating and socializing. I'm not sure if it's going back anytime soon.
He hit it on the nail. He said, if anyone has newborns, this is like golden nuggets right here. Basically saying you're going to have to input the devices with them. You can't run from it, but you need to make sure that you balance that with some physical interaction time. Put them in a sport. If you can do the sport with them, he does the sports with his kids. He tries to always do that with them. So I think it's like having that balance. I think that's what you're saying, Dean, right?
Absolutely. Do you think that the pandemic affected the kids' social skills? I say a lot of stuff started there. The students I have right now, they were in kindergarten, but it was a virtual school year. They've been back in school, but when I think about it, and I be like, dang, y'all was in kindergarten. The year we was in virtual school, like on a laptop in kindergarten. So I'm just like, it's been a little bit off ever since then.
Let's now get a little bit, before we get into, we're going to leave the last 10, 15 minutes about you in this book. Des, I'd like to go to a little bit on Black History Month. I want to know, because I want to ask you questions about what's happening. I didn't want to talk about politics, but I think we can't avoid it. Because there's changes that are happening, especially with taking out diversity out of the schools. I don't know how much that impacts middle school. I'm thinking of high school probably be more impacted at that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you guys have diversity programs? And from your professional opinion, do you see that as a threat or do you not see it as a threat?
So for me, teaching fourth grade, I think whatever new things have come into play right now, I feel like I don't know if I've seen the effects of it just yet. Because I know a lot of this is just like a month in since the new people got in or whatever. Look, we don't say their name.
That's
But
right.
look, thou shalt not be named.
Thou shalt not
But look, what was I talking about? See, I've been cracking myself up. But as far as I don't think we've received any like word that we need to not do this or that. I think a lot of these books, they try to ban Empress and stuff like that. I think a lot of these are like high school level books.
Okay.
So for us, I know like we still business as usual, doing like Black History facts of the day or trivia and just trying to teach them about different people.
Is the people you teach, the kids you're teaching, is it a multicultural, or predominantly one?
It's multicultural.
Great.
Yeah, we got some of everybody.
So let's talk about this book. Can you show it and tell us what inspired you about it and what it is and where people can get it?
Yep, absolutely. So this is my book, Ethan's Rise. It is a book about overcoming fears. A lot of what the book's theme is about is what you have to do in the process of starting something new or publishing a book, because you have to first be ready to step out there. I feel like it's a kid's book, but it's also motivational just for anybody, Empress, for adults too, for anybody that's trying to start some new journey or have a competition. Like the battle I had tonight, it even is related to that, because you got to step out even though you're nervous or uncomfortable or shy. It's a book that kind of reflects me a little bit like when I was in elementary school. I probably was a more quiet or reserved student, but as I got older, you step into your place. That is the experience and the time frame I wrote my book from. And so I wanted other kids that are a little bit more introverted or not as outspoken to have something. It's like an underdog story, or for any kids in general.
That's great. You said the main character name is Ethan.
Yep. So Ethan love ping pong, but
How,
you
how,
know,
how did you come up with the name Ethan? Why Ethan?
so it's funny. I knew I wanted the character's name to start with the letter E, like mine, but I didn't
I
want to
see.
use my same name. So I got like a list, because I became infatuated with creating lists while I was like trying to publish my book. So I had a list of names that started with E. And I just went through and narrowed it down.
Got you. That's a very good lesson to put in a children's book, because that is one that almost everybody, as it's going from childhood into adulthood, is going to stumble over at some point. I'm an author as well. In my book, I speak about tips on professional development and so on. I highlight that you're going to have to be able to get past the fear of stepping into the spotlight. You're going to be put on the spot and have to overcome those hurdles. But that's a great lesson to teach a young person early on.
Absolutely. Even the kids that I teach, the age of students that I teach, and I see
Right.
a lot of them struggle with just like finding their purpose, finding like finding their way out of the comfort zone, and that's how Ethan was. And so I feel like it was a motivational book for adults, just like for the kids too at the same time. And a
Right.
lot of things that I had to do in the process of publishing the book, even with creating content or when I finally decided to go live, a lot of that is relatable to what the book's theme is about.
I see. So a question for you, Mr. E. Dean, is: are you Ethan?
So I'm not Ethan. Maybe Ethan toward the end of the book, so y'all got to read it to see. But I
Yes.
want to finish the family.
Yes.
So you got to
Good
read
point.
it, and then that's the thing too about what I know kids go through. Like at one minute you could be all excited, and then the next minute like people can get you down, so they have
Yep.
your mood all down.
Yep.
Especially because kids care about what each other think, even
That's
though
right.
sometimes they act like they don't. They care.
That's right. Of course, they highly influence you.
Absolutely.
So where can we get the book on TikTok?
It's real easy and quick. If you click right on my picture up there, me in the blazer from the back of the book, I have a link tree there. Some people like to get the ebook, so if you click on the link tree, it's right on my page on my bio. Click the link tree. The first thing is an ebook, and you can just have it tonight. You can read it tonight and get to the end. The suspense is killing y'all. And then
Nice.
under it is a paperback book, which is this one that I was showing y'all. And then I also have, because in the process of publishing the book, I have more time. So I also have a coloring book as well. So that's
Oh,
the thing.
that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, we got a coloring book too.
Oh, that's great.
Well, teaching one special because I know the kids when they get done reading, then
That's
they might
right.
be like, all right, look, I'm bored now, so what can I do? So we
That's
got the
right.
coloring book as well. And that's the third thing on there. But they have like mazes, coloring pages, you got everything in here.
That's
Word
that's a, that's a very effective engagement strategy to have the coloring book.
Right.
absolutely.
So I don't know how many, but the fact is this: we all need to go out and help this brother be successful with his book. All right,
Absolutely.
let's do that. Because if you went to go see the promo, I said we have a superhero that we're going to be interviewing today.
Yes.
And I said in that promo, it's not Batman or Superman. It's a
That's right.
Because teachers spend more time with our kids, teaching and developing them during the day, and everyone's at work.
Right.
And that's where the real superheroes are. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
thank you for your service.
Teachers are truly the unsung hero.
So as we continue, we still got 15 minutes of your time here. Let's keep it going. Do we have any questions in the chat? I'm seeing some chats, people saying, well done to you. We're going to go out. If you guys are going to go out, look, that ebook, going back to kids not wanting to read, that's why he thought about that. They're going to want an ebook too because they can put it right on their phone, right?
You can read it tonight. Some people don't like to wait. They can read it tonight.
So
that's right.
I encourage all of you guys, let's go out and get that book so we can support that. You can give that to a gift. One of your young kids, one of your young.
But I think a fantastic feature is that coloring book companion. Get the book, get the coloring book, because that's a very good engagement tool.
Oh, absolutely. You can get a 2-for-1 special.
There you go, 2 for 1.
So let me see. Hold on. We got a question on this side. Shortcake said, what do you think my daughter should be working on to prepare for the 5th grade? Ooh, that's a good one. So probably multiplication. Because I did teach 5th grade for 3 years. I got trapped in 5th grade. I was so ready to leave. But not your daughter. But multiplication, though, that's like the biggest thing because they start the year right off with like multiplication, division, multiplication facts. I'm talking about quick. I tell some parents, they got the flashcards at Dollar Tree. I be seeing them. They be right there. Or even like, you know how like at the Dollar Tree, they have those workbooks or even Five Below. And this ain't even an ad. But on the Five Below, they be having like the 3rd grade workbook for the year. And they have all the stuff mapped out. It's all there.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
That is a fantastic point, and one that I touched on with stakeholders. I don't know if it could be emphasized enough how we rely on the school to teach our children, and they do, and they will, the fundamentals. But we as parents have a lot we need to do on our end. And it's nothing stopping you from getting tutors or like you said, workbooks so they could be ahead of their grade and their workload. And that's extra work that a kid might not like, but will appreciate later on in life.
Yep,
yep.
absolutely. And then even too the reading, because I know like third and fourth grade they really push reading. So even at home, like reading simple things like a magazine, a book to younger siblings,
That's right.
stuff like that. The library, you go to the library, you can get the card. They can give you some books. They can give you some pamphlets.
That's
Because
right.
I don't know about all the states, but I feel like homework it's like sliding to the back burner. Because our principal just be like, as far as homework, like nobody can prove it's a benefit. So we honestly don't really give homework now to parents because you do have some parents that be like, can I just get a little something? So then you can get it to them. But even homework's not that big of a thing these days, I don't believe. So that means just a little something at home, even if it's something you print out like third grade math worksheet and see if they can.
One question in the chat relevant. There's so much violence in schools that involve kids. Is there any plan to combat that? I think that's not a question you could probably answer if you're not the principal, but do you have any response to that?
Mm.
Well, we would need a little more elaborate on that. So much violence. That's just a general statement.
Yeah,
Violence where? What grade? What school? No one knows when violence is going to break out. But I don't think there's violence overwhelmingly in all schools. That's a
right,
blanket question.
right,
Yeah. And like I was thinking about like with the banned books, I think like high school and elementary, we on so much different like wavelengths. So like violence in our school, that's not a thing where it's just like, oh my God, like we need help. I teach fourth graders. So we don't see a lot of violence. Now I have before the playground, sometimes that's where some tussles happen at the basketball court, the foul. So
Right.
I've seen a few, but it's I don't think it's like a thing. But somebody did say like bullying. So
Yes.
I guess like bullying that is a thing. But as far as like violence, I don't see a lot of that. All we can do is try to teach the kids to report things, even though sometimes culturally we learn the opposite. But like we just tell kids if somebody pushed you, did you tell a teacher? It was five of us out there. I don't know. That's a whole deeper lesson when it comes to fighting and violence and retaliation. But I don't see a lot of it, luckily, at the elementary level.
Is there any integration of what you do on TikTok? You know, because I see a lot of stuff that you do on TikTok. Some of it is centered around you being a teacher, some of it isn't. Are you able to use any of that to help you in the class? Because I don't know, fourth graders might have phones too, so they might see your profile. Are they seeing you and go, hey,
Oh,
teacher, I saw
look.
you do this?
That's the thing this year. That was actually hard because I didn't expect and I didn't think that would happen. You know how we want to grow our accounts and have big
Right.
videos? I never thought that would be something I would have to think about. Oh my God, like the people I work with is seeing videos. And then
Right.
but at one point it was showing up at my lives. How is y'all finding me on my live journey? That almost slowed me down because it started making me feel self-conscious again, like about the kids. The grown folks can't talk about nothing. We can't even just vibe together. I appreciate you, Vibes Boutique. If you go to my page, it's mostly like stuff that's family friendly. It ain't nothing wild on there, so I actually don't mind if the kids see my videos or whatever. Sometime, like on a Friday, we have some free time. We've done a couple videos. I let the kids participate, but I probably just blurred their face out or something. Y'all won't get me. I've done a lot of school videos because people like that. People
Yeah, of
like
course.
teaching content.
Are you, in terms of this month, charged with any activities in terms of Black History Month? Are you teaching any of that, or is that ran by somebody else? How are you guys implementing that?
So pretty much when it's Black History Month, we try to teach more lessons on the daily announcements. It's always a trivia question so people can learn a new person. During social studies, we spend a lot of time like sometimes like reading about them, doing coloring pages. So it's like a wide variety. Now this year I decided I'm not gonna make people write an essay because that's what we normally do. We already literally writing an essay. So I
Right.
said this time we just trying to keep it a little bit more fun. So some videos, look, some Chromebook activities.
What is your personal observation of the kids' response to Black History Month? Does it seem like it matters to them, meaningful, or it's just a thing?
I think it's meaningful for the majority, especially at fourth grade. Some people they don't really understand everything. So they don't know how big of a deal it is.
Right.
But you have some of them like they be excited to learn about new people or to say who they know about already. In the classroom, we have a display of different people from different historical figures. So every once in a while, they ain't always paying attention, but sometimes they'll go up to it and see if it's somebody new that they don't know about. So even things like that is something that's subtle without it being a punishment. Because I did in the past, like making them write a paper or whatever. Then it turns to this not even fun. Like we supposed to be having fun during the month. So I'm trying to make it fun this year. We got to get back to it when we come back from this break. But even next month, it should still continue. Because I feel like for whatever reason, a lot of people get off late to doing Black History Month, whether it's the schedule, the breaks, the snow days here in Michigan. Because we had a lot of snow days this winter. So I feel like that should be motivation. Like if you didn't really do everything you felt like you needed to in February, just keep it going in March because March is reading month anyway. So now you can bring out the books of the people you didn't get to and cover them.
Thank you, Shannon, for the hearts. I really appreciate it. You guys almost got me to go. This might be over the kids' heads, fourth graders, because it's not high school. Once a month, we talk about Black history, right? One of our discussions next week, which you're happy to join if you like, we're going to be having a deep discussion to end Black History Month around where we think the state of Black and brown people are today. You got 30, 40 Black billionaires now, right? You got people living the dream here in America, and we're not all monolithic, so we don't all, like you can see now with even our voting, right? We don't vote the same anymore. A lot of Black people would vote Democrat, and now, I don't know the numbers, but it could be 50-50. I don't know. Where I'm bringing it back to kids is kids are growing up now where they didn't experience the things we experienced. I don't even know if you did because you look like you might be 20 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't he say age don't matter? Didn't he say that?
Who
Okay,
counting?
listen. When Barack, we'll figure it out. You don't have to tell us your age, right? When Barack Obama became president, what were you doing? Were you in high school or were you in middle school?
No. Y'all giving me more credit, but I'm finna age myself because I'm gonna tell you where I was at Buffalo Wild Wings in Jackson, Mississippi, because that was my junior year of college.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we was there. We and after he won, we threw a big party at our apartment complex. The Jeezy song had just came out. I remember like it was
So my question to you is, being in college, imagine high school. They don't have the same sentiments that I grew up with. My grandparents used to say to me, when you go to work, you got to work harder because you Black. And they don't grow up with that. So I think we're getting more disconnected, almost like slavery being a myth and a myth. Are you guys doing anything in middle school to make sure that this past is going with them to the future?
Yeah, and I feel like the reading books during this Black History Month, a big part of what we do is read different books or watch videos or learn about certain people. And so, just like I was saying, sometimes I have to start the day like laying down like just a couple of quick rules before we start. So during Black History Month, that's another one of them times where I have to just say, just everybody be careful of what words we say. If we see something in the book, if it's in the book, it's fine. Just because we say the word Black or the word white, sometimes they be like, "Oh, that's racist." I'm Black, like you not Black. It's okay, but you got to go over some ground rules for things like Black History Month, just so it don't get sticky. But I'm one. I think it's the HBCU in me. I don't know, but I'm one to like always remind them we ain't gonna do not one Black joke. Like we ain't doing none of that. This ain't that Black History Month. To just make sure like that is clear, and then once everybody clear, then we can start learning.
Right. Okay. That's a very good point. We're living in an era where self-identification is so prevalent. Some people don't want to use this term, don't want to be identified this way and identified that way. And to respect to them all. You have the right of self-determination. So whatever you want to be, you can be. But it becomes tricky if you're an educator and you have to navigate those terrains.
Yep.
Absolutely. And so that's why I said everything in the districts these days, like I think a lot of districts just are ran differently and run even like the buildings. But even in our district, they give us a lot of guidance, whether it's in the form of articles or discussions at meetings, just so that everybody is clear and it's like a good understanding of what's expected, some examples of some things. So sometimes people literally don't know, and you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Last year we started having like online trainings, and some of it is about microaggression and all these terms. I don't know,
That's right.
big
Right.
terms, but I'm like, I didn't know people needed classes for this, but apparently we do.
Oh, that's
That's
a funny
actually a good
thing.
thing, though.
Dean, I'm glad you brought that up because that goes back to a conversation we had a couple of episodes ago about DEI. And I made the same exact point where DEI, under that umbrella, there was certain training and development that I said the same thing. I didn't know you had to train somebody in humanity, but apparently we do.
Yeah, definitely. I value everybody's time. And I think we came to the end of our show. Before we conclude, I just wanted to see with Mr. Dean, is there anything else that we missed that we need to know about you? We know that you're a teacher, very successful with your content. What does Dean have plans on in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you want to be career-wise or even as a TikTok enthusiast?
The journey with the content and creation and live journey, I think that's still under construction. I'm just learning what I can and perfecting and growing. But as far as professionally, I think in the next 5 years, I want to be one of those early retirees from the education field. I have a desire to travel with the books. I want to be going from state to state, from school to school. So because literally, like as far as my market for children's books is elementary schools, but I also work in the elementary school, so we all on the same schedule. So that's actually my goal in the next 5 or maybe even less years. Is I want to be able to be like a traveling author, doing like signings, events.
Nice.
I want to end the next 5 to 10 years definitely have 4, maybe 5 books, maybe some motivational speaking. Because I just realized in November through the live journey that I do like to talk. I feel like I have some things to say, possibly some courses, because I do want to put back in, whether like with the youth or with even adults, because a lot of people want to know about writing and publishing books. I want to start being able to do that professionally versus on a whim.
Yeah, I think that
Right.
I think that you got the right plan. I'm trying to travel more and see the world, and I think unlocking TikTok in the content thing can help you. I don't know if you're doing affiliated stuff as well, but in any case, having multiple revenue streams, I think everyone's got to be thinking about now, especially with artificial intelligence coming in, and all the technology now allows us to duplicate ourselves in different revenue streams. We just got to try some things and be willing to take some risk. But you got the right move, because you should want to retire early, because you want to spend, when you get to your next half of your life, you don't want to be having to work till you're 70. You want to be out there enjoying your life.
And the thing too, like what I said about the live and content, is just I feel like when me and you were talking, you saw my video about the Black History Fact. That's why I'm just like between the videos and going live, and I'm in all these programs. I said all those things combined together, and then the books. So I said, whatever is gonna be written for me, it's gonna be all those things connected. So until I figure it out all the way, I'm gonna just keep on going, keep on pushing.
But one more question about the book. How did you approach the illustration aspect of it?
When I wrote the draft to the book, as soon as I had it drafted up, I found an illustrator. So I went to a platform like that, one that was respected and vetted. And I went out scouting. And that was a hard part too, because the budget, it's not a low budget for children's books. I feel like the most expensive thing in the journey for children's books is illustrations. I went through a third party vendor so I could make sure it was somebody that was legit. And this was book number 11 for her. Her name is Danica Runyon. Some people ask me, did I draw the pictures? But I'm just like, what did it say? Illustrated by Danica Runyon. Like, I'm not stealing her credit. But yeah, so that's how I went about that. But even as I was drafting the book, I had ideas of what certain things I wanted to look like. Even I didn't know what the characters would look like. I mean, me and her, we did a lot of back and forth, like messaging, talking on the phone, just to perfect things and get them right.
And it turned out exactly the way you envisioned it?
It did. Well, we did. We changed a few things. Even like We changed many things many times, especially because for me as a new author, I think I wasn't as specific as I needed to be, but I thought I was. So that's the kind of things I'm going to go into my second book learning. And
Right.
Cece in the comments said the book is amazing. Her kids love the story, the pictures, everything was top tier.
Nice.
Also, Tia Wade says, "What God has for you, I guess will happen." That's what she said. Thank you for the joy.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Can I ask you a question about the book too? Because he's trying to get me to write a book, a mental health book.
Not trying to get you. You're going to write the book. We're working on that. Don't worry about that.
Man,
Yeah, that's right.
A
We
lot of
talking
things
into
going on, man.
existence.
I was playing the guitar a couple nights on
Listen,
the show. I was
listen.
doing. I
No
got a lot
excuses.
going on, Dean. I'm
You're
trying to be
speaking
like you.
into
I'm trying to get
existence.
15,000 viewers. Anyway, but Dean, let me ask you something. How long the process did it take you to actually write the book?
so it was a long process because I took a lot of breaks. But I'll say,
Right.
as far as actually writing and then drafting and rewriting, probably like 2 months.
Nice.
2.5 months, and then school would start back, and a lot of breaks was involved. But I feel like for me, like once I already been mentally thinking about it, and I don't know if mental planning is part of it too, though.
Of course.
But from the time I started writing, I said 2 months. I wanted to keep adjusting it and overthinking with the first book, but I've already written a draft for my second book, so it's about to be in the works coming soon, like a motion picture. And this was a faster process because I already had my notes from last time, my experience from last time. So I feel like going forward, it'll be a shorter process, but still quality.
So can
Nice.
can we get an exclusive? Come on, man. Give us something about it. What's the book going to be about? Give us a little taste.
Okay, just a little tidbit, but like I said, it's coming soon, like the Scale Live Rewards was. So, look, the Scale Live Rewards, they coming soon.
We got the fact that that's very complicated. You have to do like go to school to understand the skill rewards. But anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. Okay, but look,
It's
so
covered by
it's gonna
design.
be like a sequel book. The family is going on vacation, so look, they're getting their passports. The family loading up. They get on a flight and they going to Rome, Italy. So
Ethan's going. Ethan's going.
the whole family in the club. We all fam. They go together wherever they go together.
Okay.
But from the kids' point of view, grown folks, we'll be excited to be going to Italy. But for kids, like you got to think from their point of view. So we ain't gonna get into too much of the plot, but it's gonna be an exciting book, and I'm excited mostly about the illustrations because y'all know Rome. Rome is beautiful. You got the Colosseum, all the old structures and stuff. So I'm excited about that, and of course, it's gonna be another book where kids gonna learn. It's gonna be an actual theme and all that.
That's cool. You've been to Rome as well?
I have not physically, not in a physical sense.
We're having a good time, right? If we're having a good time, we're having good, and we're learning about the brother. That's what it's all about, right? I'm hearing comments. Beautiful story. So good. For those who just joined, we're just finishing up a great conversation. Our episode was Teach Me. We had an experienced educator here, Mr. E. Dean, who shared some great insight about teaching, modern times, and technology, and how we need to be as parents with our kids. And so make sure we're on YouTube, so this will be on YouTube. You'll be able to watch this because this is an official podcast. We're just doing it on TikTok. That's the new thing, right? And so if you want to watch this, I'll be posting up within a day or two. In the meantime, make sure you click on his face so that you can follow him and give him a heart me, because heart me's are very important for our success when we go live. So give him a heart, follow him. You know, if you feel it in your heart, throw some roses to the man, some donuts. Do the same for D. Wilder, and you can do the same for me if you want to. Don't matter. But that's
Yes, do
just to
the
help
same
us,
for Mr. J. D'Angelo as well.
so we can
That's
keep
right.
the
Show the
platform
love.
going, right? And if you go watch this, look at this brother's content. He's really giving you the framework on how to be successful on the TikTok platform. He has almost 15,000 followers, and he has 64,000 likes. Okay, all right. And if I could ask you really quick just about that, if you don't mind, how long you been on the platform?
I'm coming up on my 1 year because I remember in my first set of videos, I was at my cousin's wedding, and today was her anniversary, so it's coming up on a year.
So you
One
did
year.
That's a
15,000.
big
So
accomplishment in 1 year.
So you did that in 1 year, us being like 4 or 5 months on the platform, okay? He just got on like January, all right? If I could pick your brain for a second, even with your year's experience, right? How do you feel about the grow rooms? Do you feel that you really have an authentic tribe that support you?
I absolutely do, and if no other night showed me, tonight showed me that back at the battle, look, don't forget about the battle. So look, I already know. But I'm gonna say this about the grow rooms is definitely I wouldn't advise them for two different reasons. For one, I feel like sometimes if you in rooms that's like way too big, someone like you and some people have nothing in common. So you're
That's
not
right.
gonna want to watch their videos. They
Right.
ain't gonna watch your videos because I did in the beginning, like I'll say probably around May. That's when I started trying to do the same thing with the trends and stuff like that. I was trying to get to the 1K followers because I wanted to put my link in my bio. I fell for that for a minute, but I don't know. But now I don't really go to them types of rooms. Going live to help me realize who is a part of my community for real, just
Right.
by showing the support.
Mm-hmm. Do you
Right. So
consistently?
was there times when you went live and no one was there?
So I think I've been blessed. The first 3 or 4 times, my lives were moving slow, of course, but I had a couple, like two people who I had met on the app that like came and stayed the whole time. So
Oh,
from the
okay.
beginning, I had a good experience, but it was slow and awkward
Right.
when I started going like almost every day unless something come up. When I feel
Right.
like it's been increasing since then, but it may be like a moment here or there where it's two people, then one. With the app unpredictable, the longer you stay on, 10 minutes later it could be 16 people.
Right.
That's
So
right.
I think
That's
what
right.
works for you too, because I've seen some of your lives, you're just very authentic and very personal and you're fun. So like when I see your videos, it makes sense because what I see in your content videos is what I'm getting in your people who like your style are just gonna rock with you. That's just the way it is. You can't be everything for everybody. But the
Right.
question I have for you, if you have 15,000 people that
I think
follow
it's 13. It's
13,
13.
13.
One want to say we false advertise.
Oh,
No,
yeah, that's
what
right.
we're doing is we're speaking it
We're
into
speaking it
existence.
up, okay? My question to you is, if you said you just started going live, what, in November last year?
October 11th, that was
October.
my first live. And then I was like sporadic, but the week of Thanksgiving, that when we had those days off from school, that's when I started going like almost every day.
But you had most of your followers before you went live, right? Because the live thing just opened up like third quarter last
So
year, right?
it's a mixture of both. The first time I went live, I had like 5K, maybe
Oh,
six. I might have had 6K.
okay.
Yeah, something like that. And then I had a video that was like a big video, and I got a whole bunch of new people from that video, which is where I was going next. Where I always tell people about creating content, like you said, if you're a person that's fun, you need fun content. Then people that like that about you will follow you. And when you follow too many people that you don't have anything in common with, some people probably still scarred from their fourth grade teachers, so they don't even like teachers. But now, hey, look.
Yeah, yeah,
And now we done ended up in this live together. You milking cows. I'm a
Right.
teacher.
well,
Yeah.
that's why when I go to the grow rooms, to be honest with you, now, like when I go to the grow rooms, I'm picking people based on commonalities. I read their bios and I try to make sure
Mhm.
that if I am going to those rooms, I'm picking people that has some similarities of interest, whether it's mental health, inspirational stuff. That's why I was attracted to your stuff because this brother's doing some great things. There's the commonality, right? To your point, I get what you're saying, but I think what we're learning from what you're saying, if you went live starting in October and you had 5,000, I've been telling my brother here that it's really a percentage game, right? Because if you got 10,000 people, it's not. If you got 1,000 people, 1,000 people are not going to end up in your live. Everyone's different
Right.
time frames and
Right.
everything. But there is a percentage of that 1,000. We maybe 5, 10%. You come on, they're there. So you got to continue to build, but it's how you build, right?
Yeah, that's how you build. And the best thing you want is people to connect with you from your content. I always look at my videos and like when you check your analytics, you can see did you get new followers from this video. And so some of them like it be like over 100 sometimes, depending on the video. And the thing too is you gotta start learning like what kind of videos do better for you to do videos similar to that. Because they like when you talk about engagement. You do a video about engagement,
Right.
people engage because you tell them.
Would you say anyone on the platform who's thinking about being a content creator, would you say that works better than videos over minutes?
Definitely, because people, for the most part, unless you're doing something really exciting, like if I was like skydiving for a minute, I feel like people be like, oh, "Okay, I'm gonna watch this." But if I don't know, you got to make your videos really good. So I recommend people in the beginning that's trying to grow their following and grow their views up in 7 seconds, 15 seconds. But if you got to talk, because sometimes you have to talk in the videos, because sometimes they don't want to hear it. Depending on what you're talking about, they probably will. But shorter videos are better. But one of the programs that I'm in once I got over the 10K is a creative rewards program. And so
Right.
for those,
We lost him. D'Angelo, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him. Can't hear you. Oh, I'm sure he's got to hit the thing because after a while,
Oh yeah, it wants to confirm.
yeah, that you still give him a
That's
second.
right.
Yeah, you back? Don't hear you. When you're in the creative rewards, you got to have over 10,000 people for that. That's when you can monetize off your content, correct?
yeah, absolutely. Your videos that's over a minute, that's original. You can make some coins and depend on, and that's like you were saying about the percentages and the numbers and stuff. That's why I realized that like the people who really like monetizing for real, they have like way more people. And some people be like, I got a lot of people. But I'm like, no, they be having some people. So you just got to keep on pushing with it. But you can monetize, but it's difficult because people don't genuinely like longer videos. But in order to monetize, the video have to be at least over a minute.
Right.
Okay. Man,
Right.
So
thank
you
you
got
for
to think outside the box.
yeah.
Yep.
This is impromptu conversation, but thank you for sharing the nuggets because we trying to learn. I'm enjoying the journey of this because I've been putting myself out there, like you said, in a lot of different facets. I'm an entertainer at the same time, inspirational and spiritualist and all that. So I'm trying to put it all together and share all aspects of myself like yourself. So I appreciate you sharing your insights. We're at 20 minutes.
I have a question to pluck E. Dean's mind, and this was a Black History Month question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any fun facts for Black History Month that we may
not know about?
We know we made peanut butter.
Huh?
We know we made peanut butter.
Okay, so we got my guy George Washington Carver. A lot of people know about him, but a fun fact about George Washington Carver is that he, like myself, is a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And on January 5th, we celebrate Carver Day. So it's also the Kappa's Founders Day. If we being real petty, we just keep saying Happy Carver Day. But like a lot of people don't know that.
Nice.
But, hey man, I want to say thank you again. To be honest with you, this is more than what I bargained for in terms of the conversation we had. I'm totally pleased. I think I learned a lot myself, and I hope those who stopped through learn something. And we will share this on the YouTube platforms. Hopefully, we can get more attention to your book and all the great work you're doing. I'm definitely gonna go buy a copy, and I tell everyone in here, go support this brother. Make sure you follow him and get a copy. And we'll be watching you, and hope you'll be watching us, brother, because we go on live Mondays and
Thursday
at 10 p.m. Eastern, and on the weekend sporadically. This is what our show is about, making sure we educate, support, and inspire everyone with good content.
Right. Sound good. I appreciate y'all brothers for having me. Y'all click the link tree on my page. Even after the live, you can still click my link tree. Just go E. Dean Author and hit me up, and I appreciate y'all having me. And shout out to the team.
Thank you. Signing off, everybody. Enjoy your night.
All right, y'all.
All right. Take care.
Peace and blessings.